Vicky Potts, what is your favorite game? As my dog sort of peeks in the background.
Hello, dog. My favorite game is Petz. I have been playing games for as long as I can remember. My first console was a NES, and I remember being around at a friend's house in like P1 and playing Sonic on the Sega Mega Drive. Um, then I got a SNES. I remember playing it's Super Mario Brothers, like all the original Super Mario games. I got really obsessed with Super Mario and like got the original Game Boy with Super Mario on it. And that was just like I don't remember a time before that. I don't remember not having that. Like I think it was Christmas when I was 6 years old. My parents managed to get these Super Mario bedclothes. I don't know how they managed to get these Super Mario bedclothes in Belfast in like 1997 from just by some pure chance newspaper listing. But they managed to take me out of bed, changed the bedclothes, put me back into bed. I slept through the whole thing and I woke up and I was just like, Super Mario, the Super Mario bedclothes. And that was class. So I was really, really obsessed with Mario. Um then so got SNES, then I had a PS1, played a lot of Sonic, Nintendo 64, played a lot of Diddy Kong Racing, played a lot of GoldenEye. So I was quite fortunate that like, I got the consoles maybe a year or two after they'd already come out, but I played them to death. So it's quite fortunate. Like every couple of Christmases, I'd get something like that. GoldenEye was a staple in my household. My mum and dad, I would make them play it all the time, and there was a character in it. I think when Jaws was in it, he'd be like, "Oh, I picked up like an agent card or something." You had to pick up a card as like a pickup item. And my parents, anytime someone was going to have a nap, they'd be like, I've picked up a snooze card. We still say that like 20 years later from GoldenEye on the N64. So yeah, it was just always kind of there. Really fortunate my parents were happy enough with me playing games and sort of encouraged it. I think my dad came downstairs one night, couldn't sleep, and he was like trying to finish GoldenEye without me because I couldn't get past a certain bit. So yeah, he got into it as well.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, pretty much all through primary school.
Hmm.
Probably spent more time playing games than I did talking to talking to other people.
What other games were you sort of playing around that time as well? Like on especially PS1 and N64 anyway.
Trying to think, a lot of Diddy Kong Racing on N64. That was good.
Hmm.
I didn't actually. I only had like three N64 games. I think there was like it was like 1080 snowboarding. I had that. That was good. Then there was like a racing one, and I remember getting a Nintendo magazine one weekend, and it had like for the racing one, it was like there's a secret track here and stuff, and like going through the level trying to find that. Um, then there was GoldenEye, and then there's Diddy Kong Racing. So it might have been only been about four. Some girl in my street had Super Mario World, I think, or Super Mario Galaxy, but I never had it. Just borrowed it. Or
That's
oh, I spent a lot of
that.
time in Extravision trying to
Mm.
complete things before the weekend was up. Oh, and it never had a memory card either, so it was a real like I have to complete this. I can't turn this off.
Oh, nothing basically says Irish gamer than trying to complete a game before the rental period expires at Extravision.
Kids these days, they do not know. They do not know the hell
They do not know the pain of video shop rental expiry periods.
without a
You
memory card.
you utter lucky bastards.
Finish it
Uh,
in one sitting. You'd be really red faced by the end of it as well. You'd be absolutely really sweaty.
oh my god, you have no idea. Like basically, um, I remember renting. This is completely irrelevant to what you just said. About trying to finish a game, but basically, I remember rent. So about 5 minutes down the street from where I am in Derry, like there used to be an old video shop it's now a restaurant basically, but in that video shop, you would have a pick of PS2 games, and I remember playing for about 12 hours. Even though I had a memory card, I remember playing 12 hours non-stop, and I basically had no completion period to it, like in terms of finishing the game and all that. There was no such thing. I remember playing 12 hours straight NHL 2002. And I love the old NHL games in the PS2, but looking back on it now, I just think, what the fuck was I doing spending that long playing an NHL game?
Oh, here it's FIFA 98. That was my vice. The one that
Oh,
has Fatboy Slim in the intro music with Funk Soul Lover. I played a
mm,
lot of that.
oh god, the era of sports games around that time, like you're thinking, like you said, FIFA 98, but also as well FIFA 2000 and 2001. Oh, 2001 had the one with the. I don't know if you all played that, but 2001, especially the PS1 version. I don't know if the PS2 version had it, but the PS1 version I got for Christmas just before the week before I got my PS2. The PS1 version has this sort of scratching smell on the disc where the disc smells like an actual football pitch.
Really? I did. I recognize the white cover of the 2001 one.
Mm,
I feel like I saw that sitting somewhere.
mm.
But I
Um,
got PS2 quite late.
when did you get your PS2?
Oh God, I feel like it must have been about 3 or 4 years after it came out. Because by that
Oh,
point, I'd got the piece. Like I'd always kind of had a desktop computer, but I started just playing games on that.
mm,
So I completely missed like GameCube, Dreamcast, and the Xbox. I completely missed that entire like era.
mm.
Just sort of skipped it. And then yeah, I got the PS2, and then I didn't get a console again until I guess Adam has a Switch and a PS4 that I, by extension, assume are part mine. But he's looking at me here. But yeah, that's
For
pretty much
anyone
it.
listening, just to point out, Adam is Vicky's business partner at Whitepot, and
My my
and
business, my partners in crime, life and business. Those things are not all related.
or I already know. What game? What when you got your PS2? What games were you playing?
I remember going to game in Conswater with my mum in around 2006. A really vivid memory of this. Um, getting Tony Hawk's American Underground and coming home and playing that. Like I had a little box CRT TV in my room that the PS2 was plugged in, like one of those ones with like a 10-inch screen.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I'm playing games up late. Shouldn't be doing this. It came with a Guitar Hero pack as well, so it had that. And then I think the only other thing I played on it was Kingdom Hearts, because again, I wasn't.
Oh, you utter weeb! You
I
utter
know,
weeb!
I know. I wasn't really. I would borrow discs from friends. Actually, yeah, I had a friend, Asta. She let me borrow her GTA. Can't remember which one, but she went on holiday and I borrowed it for 2 weeks. And it was like a harking back to my rental days. I actually got Spyro 3 from Extravision when it came out and tried to play it that weekend.
Oh
So, uh,
Jesus!
but there wasn't, again, spent a lot more time on the computer then
Hmm.
playing like MapleStory and that kind of stuff. So the poor PS2 didn't get much of a look in because my mum and dad, they got it for me, and then it was like, okay, all the games are like 40 and 50 quid.
Why are we putting down 40, 50 quid for basically games that is on a system that, from what I understand, anyway, like you're barely playing anyway because you're playing a lot of the stuff on the computer anyway.
I was really bad with consoles. I had maybe like 4 or 5 games and I just play those to death. I should be way better at Guitar Hero than I am for the amount I played Guitar Hero. It is shocking when you have access to only Guitar Hero for months and you get to my age, I'm 30 now, and you're still as bad at Guitar Hero as I am. It is not good.
Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. Um, besides pets, and we'll get into pets in a minute. Like, what other games were you playing on the PC at the time?
I'm trying to think. I'm quite bad for playing one game for years at a time. Played a lot of Flash games. There was this little one called Winter Bells. It was like by Original, I think, and it was literally just a browser Flash game with a little white bunny going up and down bells, and I thought that was really cool. My friends would play it in MSN and we'd send each other our scores. And then obviously a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon. The Sims, first Sims, that was good. I had a friend who had every expansion pack, and I borrowed those from her. And then a family member of hers spilt beer on them or something, and I was like, "No, my Sims." But yeah, a lot of Sims, so good. Sometimes I listen. Oh, see the original Sims 1 soundtrack, the Mall Rat track. That is top tier. It's a good tune. I just listen to that and repeat, and it's good. It's good shit.
It's such great shit.
It's good shit.
Oh, we gotta love a good Vinnie Mac impression.
What else? I feel like I've played so much, I just can't remember. There's a lot of Petz Maple Story.
What was the game you said that you were sort of sharing your scores with on MSN?
It's Winter Bells Original. It was a wee Flash game. Let me see if I can find it here. It wasn't like it wasn't a well-known game by any stretch. Well, it might have been. It was quite the Adobe Flash Player is no longer supported. It's a Flash game, so I'm not sure.
You know what that reminds me of to an extent? It actually reminds me of this time last year with Discord and stargazing. Because everyone in their ma was basically sort of posting their scores on Discord and just sort of shit talking across all the NI game servers.
The best one was Tina from Brain and Nerd. She was doing speed runs on Stargazing, which is for those who don't know, it's a mobile game that Whitepot Studios made. You can download it free now. Getting the plugs in early, Johnny, today.
Oh yeah, not even what 10-15 minutes on.
So Tina from Brain and Nerd was drawing on where the stars were with eyeliner before they loaded in, and then was doing like so she could swipe between the stars immediately. His speed run. I thought it was very clever.
Fuck.
Should bring that back. Christmas tournament. How I got into the industry, I sort of brute forced my way in. I didn't like people sort of create a portfolio and go into like an entry level job and work their way up, and I just was like, no, I'm just gonna go in and just be me. And I get like probably in the early days, it probably came across as really naive doing that because it's like I literally set up my own games studio with Adam, and we had no prior games industry experience. But as I said, we brute forced our way through it, and now we've been in the games industry for 5 or 6 years. Now we can say we are hashtag industry veterans. Well, we're not, but it seems like it in the Northern Ireland industry. It seems like we're like
5-6 years in this industry is basically 10-15 at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's because Northern Ireland industry is so small and there's so many new talented studios have popped up recently. So I feel like when I say we've been around for like 5 or 6 years, it's like, oh, you're old people. You've been around for a while. But yeah, Adam did games development at Queen's and I did computer science. That's where we met. And then we stayed on to do the masters, and we did a group project with 2 of our friends, and that was we entered like some competitions with that. It was like part of like an entrepreneurship module thing. Michael O'Kane from Inertial Drift, he was in my year as well at uni, so it was quite the games year. But me, Adam, and the 2 friends, we did a business that was based on our final year project for a year. It was like if you put Bluetooth beacons in museums and you walked up to them and they would tell you what was nearby and stuff. It was like if there was like a crowded area or you needed to see the information about the thing in your own language, or you wanted to have like an audio guide on your phone. And it seems kind of like a no-brainer now, but sort of 2014, 2015 was quite technology for that wasn't quite there yet. But we did that for a year anyway after graduating. Kind of brought that out as like our spun out our final year project and got some support, like got office space from the university and stuff to carry that on. And then was on the Propel program that Invest and I run. And this Coffee Box Games, which is a Bellular Gaming now, they were also on that program. I was just kind of walking past them every day, being like, they get to make games. They're making games. That's cool. I want to make games. And Adam was thinking the same thing as me. So after we were sort of like, this project thing isn't, this final year project into a real business isn't really working. Adam and I did a game jam. We did Ludum Dare. It was Ludum Dare 36, I think, and the theme was ancient technology. And we were like, if we can do a game for a weekend and we have fun making it, we'll set up Whitepot and we'll give it a go. And here we are, six years later,
Here
5 years later.
Who would have thought you'd be here 6 years later? Who would have thought?
Exactly.
I set you up for the fucking meme. You didn't take the bait. You didn't take the bait. Well, that's on you because you missed it. You missed it.
I did.
You missed it.
That was foolish. Let's do it again, Johnny.
No,
Johnny,
no.
Who would have thought? No, Johnny. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Look at us. Look at us. Look at us go. Look at us go.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I actually can't remember what Paul Rudd said. I can remember his face. I can remember his face. I can remember the head movement he does. I have no idea what he says. My mind has drawn a blank. But don't worry, hopefully, I'm sure that this is just as excruciatingly awkward for everyone listening as it is for me, so it's fine.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Let's talk of your favorite game, Petz. Why Petz specifically? Because of all the games that have been talked about across 7 years of my favorite game at this point, Petz is what would be defined as a very unusual game, shall we say?
Yeah, that's about right. It's weird. The game itself is fun, right? The premise is you adopt and look after and play with virtual pets. It's like a Tamagotchi, but way more involved.
And a bit more complex, anyway.
A bit more complex. And there was it started off as this thing called Oddballs, and then it turned into like pets were cats and dogs, and then there was Petz 2, Petz 3, Petz 4. And then I think Petz 5, it got bought off and then was eventually killed. But it was the game itself. Petz 3 I got on a disc from someone my dad knew, I think, or some magazine that someone my dad knew had, and I couldn't even install it on my computer at first. The first computer I tried to install it on, I couldn't install it on. It was too old. So I remember getting like a new computer one Christmas, lucky me, and installing Petz 3 on that, and it finally worked. And I remember watching it install, being like, whoa, it's like I finally have Windows Millennium Edition, not Windows 98 anymore. This is actually going to work now.
Windows Millennium, you fucking hipster. Wait, I just realized when you said Windows Millennium, was that actually Windows 2000?
Windows 2000 is like the networked one, I think. Where was Windows ME is like was the home edition, I think. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on it. Just keep it, in audio form for time immortal. But close enough. But no, it was a compact Presario with a big purple case and this big CRT monitor that had these big speakers out the side of it. Everything about it was really big and bulky, and I loved it. And it would run Petz. It was the first machine I had that ran Petz.
Hmm.
And I installed this game and I was like, this is cool, this is cute. I get to have these pets. I get to like adopt these virtual pets. This is cool. And it wasn't long after that I got the internet. And Petz was the first game I had after that I was playing when I got the internet. And I was Googling it and I found people had made things you could download for it. Like so this to me was like imagine it was just unthought of that you could download custom carts for something like Diddy Kong Racing. Do you know what I mean? So the
Hmm.
fact I could suddenly download custom dog for pets that someone had made, I was like, this is insane. I remember my mum was out in the garden and I ran downstairs. I was like, Mum, I just downloaded 20 different dogs. And she was like, okay, that's nice, dear. Oh God.
Oh,
So it was the first game I played that I realized you could expand. The first time I found an online community, first time I found fan made content, first time I made stuff that I shared with other people. First time I edited game files. So I was like 11 using a hex editor and not realizing what I was doing. And it was just following tutorials. First time you follow a guide, first time you find a forum post with screenshots being like, why isn't this working? And it introduced me to that entire world of making content and sharing content, making websites to like share the dogs and cats you'd made. And it was always with a Z. By the way, imagine I'm saying all dogs and cats and pets. Every time I say that, it's with a Z.
it's that sort of hipster thing at the time of putting a Z at the end of everything. It actually looks so cool when in actuality it's not.
Going online, the World Web.
That the most early to mid 2000s thing you could think of.
Yeah,
Putting a Z at the end of everything because it feels hip, modern, cool. You
pretty
can't
much.
see
And it was.
you can't see this, but I'm just sort of giving the sort of mid 2000s look to Vicky, just going like, eh.
Yeah, that's cool. And the guys that made it, it was PF Magic, and they weren't ever really involved in any of the fan stuff. Like I don't ever think you know what, I'd love to talk to them. I'd love them to know like what they've spawned. I'd love them to know what they've done. And like in the best possible way. But it wasn't like, do you know the way now there would be like modding communities and creators of the games would be really like hands-on. They'd have a Discord about it and stuff. This was straight up like PF Magic were this mythical company that just sort of made this game and they never really talked about it very much, and that was it. And technically, it was like, oh, you're not meant to mod the pets, you're not meant to hex the pets, you're not allowed to do that. But no one from PF Magic was ever going to come after anybody because they just sort of were never around, if that made sense. And they ended up years later doing Facade, which a lot of people know, where you're doing that. It's like the game with the couple in like the apartment, and you kind of like walk through like the sort of interactive story. It uses like a lot of like AI tech stuff, and I think people would know them more from that than from Petz. But you can tell if you're looking at Facade, you can tell they've got the same weird structure as the Petz, where it's all based on balls with a Z, where everything's made of balls and joints and lines with a Z, and all these things are a Z.
The reason why Petz sticks out for me is not so much Petz itself, but dogs, basically, because this will, and you'll hear this story later in the season, close to the end of the season. But there used to be a company in the UK called Tiny, and Tiny would sell computers in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they would have dogs pre-installed on their computers, along with Mavis Beacon's typing simulator type thing.
Yes, Mavis, yes.
I actually forgot her name when I was talking with Jordan Bradley about this.
Mavis Beacon teaches typing. She's the only reason I can type as fast as I can.
Exactly. And there was one other game that you could play that Tiny would put on. I mentioned to you this game before we started. It was dogs and Mavis Beacon and something else, and I can't remember for the life of
Is
me
it Roller
now.
Coaster Tycoon?
No, it wasn't Roller Coaster
Oh,
Tycoon.
I
No.
actually remember I played so much Commander Keen. I forgot about that. Played a lot of Commander Keen as well. Just complete tangent, but anyway.
Um, I feel that's worth mentioning and passing because it feels like such a late 90s, early 2000s thing to have basically tiny computer referenced in an episode of a UK or Irish podcast, basically, because you couldn't walk 500 yards without going into a tiny, basically, or seeing a tiny ad in a magazine or a bus stop or something at that time.
They went defunct in 2002. Brand used until 2005. So sad.
Jesus,
So sad.
that actually was basically the dot-com bubble, wasn't it? Because like they were really fucking big in the early 90s, or not early 90s, the late 90s and early 2000s. Like they basically had a sponsorship with Wimbledon in the Premier League before they went off the Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I feel like they were at school loads. Like a lot of the school computers were
Oh
tiny.
yeah. All the uh Key Stage 2 computers were all in there. Not Key Stage 2, but like, oh, what would you call the computers you would use in secondary school? I
Oh,
mentioned
C2K.
that's it. Oh my god, that's it. I said I basically said to Jordan when we recorded her episode a few weeks earlier, that we were all using these ICT computers, and I couldn't remember for the life of me what they were actually called. Whenever you were doing IT class, so I just basically said, we would play on on these ICT computers. I forgot it was C2K.
I during my uni years, one of the university streets I lived on was near a school. It was very near Methody. And I'd go into the kitchen to make a cup of tea, and my Wi-Fi would be like, "Do you want to connect to C2K?" Because it was so close to Methody, and it was like, I can't escape this. Like I finished school years ago. Why is C2K still? You wake up in the middle of the night in a sweat, being like, I forgot my C2K password. It's like, Vicky, you left school 11 years ago. Why is this still happening?
Oh dear God. Oh dear God. So yeah, that was just sort of a passing tangent on my part anyway. I just figured that's worth mentioning because
Tiny
dogs,
computers.
because tiny computers would have dogs sort of pre-installed on it. That's sort of my experience of the franchise anyway. Just sort of 8, 9 year old Johnny just basically playing pets. Or not pets, dogs. Um, what specific sort of animals were you looking after in the game anyway? That you were sort of really fascinated with anyway, for the lack of a better term anyway.
Oh, it was like a really good way to learn different breeds of dogs and like cats as well, because you could literally adopt like a Maine Coon or a Russian Shorthair, or it was literally just cats and dogs. There was pigs and bunnies in a later edition of them, but people would again, because the animal files themselves were just a series of balls and lines. Um, you could combine those to make anything. So people would, because you used a hex editor to change the files, it was called hexing. So people would hex dragons, butterflies. There was this woman, she was called Caroline, and her website was Caroline's Creations, and she was just like the god of hexing. She just made so much stuff, and everyone was like, it's strange because the community that I was part of, it was mostly young girls, or and older women. It was really for what we were doing, like hex editing files as like a bunch of 11 and 12-year olds, like teenage girls. It was like kind of, it felt like it's normally that would be like modding games would be such like a masculine space, but just being that age and having that online community of other girls who were doing the same thing as me. It's a bit like Neopets as well for like the shop pages and stuff like that. It was really important formative years for me, I think. And some of the girls I knew from then, like I still have them on Facebook. I one of them lives in like America, and she had a kid recently, and I sent like a, God, what do you call it? It's not, all I can think is like baby warming instead of house warming. Is it when someone has a kid, you send them a baby warming gift? Something like
I would
that.
say a baby shower gift, but like
Yeah,
that they were already born at that point.
but that's the kind of I didn't really have like super good friendships like that through a lot of schools. So it was really
Mm.
important to me that I had that online, and the fact that I still have those people on Facebook and stuff and still see how they're doing. Like we sent each other like Christmas cards and birthday cards, and like it's like trying to convince my mum like I promise that I'm talking to a girl like who's the same
An
age as me.
actual human.
Yeah, because like her mum and my mum, they talk to each other on like MSN webcam, be like, "Oh, hello, I see our daughters are talking again," just going past in the background, and that was really cute, and I'm really yeah, I think so it's not so much the game itself as like the community around the game. I don't think had I got into that space, I would have like I would like to think because I loved Mario and stuff, and I loved games, I love GoldenEye, love my PlayStation, love my Nintendo. But I don't know if I'd got into that creative, like modding the pets, making websites to show my pets off to people. I probably would have eventually got into that with like Neopets or something. But I just think getting into that when I did, I just think was really like pivotal to like who I am today. Just that I've ended up being this weird nerd programmer that like makes games. I don't know if that would have happened without pets.
Hmm.
And that's what PF Magic has to answer for. That's why they need to be held accountable.
They need to be held accountable for their heinous crimes in this trilogy, or in this industry, for bringing Vicky Potts into this world.
Pretty much, yeah.
I
Pretty
don't know
much.
why. I don't know why I said trilogy. I don't know why I thought that.
Because this is a multi-part saga.
It is a. Is it a multi-part saga? Should we be worried here?
Pets 99. It's coming back, baby. No, it's not. That'd be cool.
It's coming back in Pog form.
Like
Um.
Skyrim.
Oh
It's the next
God. Oh
platform's
my
coming out on.
God.
Sorry.
Me and Jess Campbell had a massive laugh at Skyrim when we recorded our episode. And I'm now just sort of broken and talking about Skyrim, thinking it'll never die. Todd Howard will never let Skyrim die.
You know, I've not got past the so you're awake.
Oh my. You've not even got past starting the game.
I spent so long customizing character. Like I need to sit down and play it. It's a shame that I haven't. Like it's an absolute travesty. But I'm too busy.
I'm laughing and I'm somewhat mocking the amount of releases Skyrim has got, but you probably should play it because it's actually a really good game.
Yeah.
Um, right, back to pets, back to pets. Or rather specifically, other sort of games like what other sort of games like pets were you playing at the time? Like sort of digital pet games like dogs or Tamagotchi, Nintendogs or
See,
Neopets,
there
etc.
there wasn't really anything else like it at the time. It was before like Nintendogs and stuff. It was before the
Mm.
DS was the thing. Neopets was kind of similar but different. Like Neopets was all about your shop pages and the HTML in your shop pages and getting the advent calendar, getting the brushes, getting the paintbrushes, getting into like stock markets, going to the money tree, going to the omelet, getting like it was like a different beast. Um, whereas Pets was more like how do I change the tail of this dog breed to be 10 times as big and really fuzzy and stripy? And then if I breed it with another dog, are all their offspring going to have really fucked up tails? Or is it going to work out the way I wanted? And then can I post this on my GeoCities pets page and be like, hey, look at all my adoption. You'd be like adoptions with a Z. Um, people get really there was a lot of protectiveness over like certain files. There's a few scandals where people like duplicated people's files. And it was like, I guess, oh my goodness, I wish like NFTs would be a great use case for this. This is cursed. This is absolutely cursed content. this is atrocious.
Don't
Because
give
I
them
was like,
ideas. For the love of God, do not give them ideas.
I was just thinking there, like, people would be like, "Oh, I sent you this pet for adoption, and you duped the file, and you kept the original. And now there's two of this, and I hexed this with my own skin, and how dare you?" And I'm just thinking, like, oh, it's cursed. I hate it. I actually hate that words even left my mouth. Disgraceful.
Oh my God. Well, you've done it now. You've put it out into the world. Why would you do that? Why would you curse it even more?
Because PF Magic needs to be held accountable for.
They can be held accountable for fucking the need for NFTs.
I know I was joking. I've done. It's me.
Um, the one
I
thing
think
actually.
NFTs are stupid, for the record, by the
Oh,
way.
absolutely.
So,
You'll hear me going on big
put
massive
out there.
fucking rant on NFTs.
I'm one of those right clickers.
You're a rebel without a cause, Vicky. You're a rebel with a cause. A cause they sort of right click and save. The thing that I've actually sort of picked up on is actually um the sense of, and you sort of alluded to it, is the sense of community that Petz has given you. And we sort of discussed this a little bit before we started recording, how it gave you that sense of direction in terms of what you want to be anyway. Like, talk to me a little bit about that anyway.
I was happiest when I was making stuff. I'd like get home from school and be like, I'm going to edit some pets today. Like that was my jam. That was my thing. And I just sort of carried that. And then even showing that to other people, I had to do that on a website. And it was back then, it was literally a matter of opening Notepad and learning how to make an HTML page from scratch. So I wouldn't have done that had I not been trying to show off the pet stuff. And then there was so many people doing it, just all being like, look at this, look at this, look at this. I've made this. What do you think? And we're all like the same age and we're all giving feedback. And then people would like steal snippets of code off other people's websites and stuff. Like, oh, I put this lovely hearts following my cursor on my web page. Oh, that's cool. I'll do that too. It's like, no, how dare you copy me? So much like competition like that and stuff as well. And then there was like different forums. There's different chat rooms. People would use AOL Instant Messenger a lot. Then we moved on to MSN. No, like that's kind of ended up with everyone on Facebook, even though we're all like 30 now. It's like 20 years later, and everyone has kids now. It's crazy.
Um, the thing I got from sort of also that sort of aspect of community is pets gave you a lot of firsts in a way, like that sense of community as well. But not just that, that sense of creation of wanting to create, like you say, just learning how to code, learning how to use HTML, learning how to mod. It feels like the game sort of gave you a lot of firsts in a way.
And that is why it is my favorite game. Like, don't get me wrong, the game itself was fun and great, and I really loved my little pixels. I grew really attached to them, but it is the meta context around it that I think I can't think of. The only other modern equivalent I can think of is Minecraft in terms of the sheer level of like kids who are like 8, 9, 10, 11 being able just to go and make stuff with, and then just start being like, here's what I made. Here's, like, I would compare it to Minecraft in terms of like just the sheer amount of possibilities. And I know that's a big stress. This is some big hot takes here. Like, this is hot take, but I do think it's the best way I can convey how much kind of opportunity there was at the time for what it was, which was essentially a virtual pet game.
Hmm. I feel like for me, Minecraft sort of feels like the realization of what people can do more within design than anything. But I know there's other aspects to it as well. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel there's because I love Minecraft and I play it a lot, and I'll look up a tutorial for something and I have about 10 seconds into the video, I'm like, this is like an 8-year-old. They've got like a cool slick intro. They've uploaded this. Like it's like so they're learning all the like the video editing and the production and like making a YouTube page header and stuff, even though they're just playing Minecraft. And it was kind of the same with Petz. It wasn't just I'm modifying the pets. It was like making a website and posting for feedback on a forum. It's like the few things put young people into those kind of scenarios, like games that encourage you to make your own content. And I just think it's good, just general life skills as well. But then again, I don't want to sound like one of those people that put like internet forum moderator on their CV, but because the equivalent now would be like Discord moderator. But that it's nothing to sniff at, those kind of like, because like
No.
social media management, community management, those are bona fide skills. That shit's hard. It's not easy to do. And if you're like 11 years old posting stuff on a forum and then like having to ban people and delete posts, shit, that's all good life skills for when you need to ban and delete people in real life. But I digress.
That's a massive digress. No, I do agree with you. Like forum moderators, forum admins, they're not something you put on, like you say, CV, but the skills you learn from it, like social media content, social media curation, and sort of helping to build a community. Those are skills you can help build up through the sort of time you've been as those roles, anyway. And I can certainly attest to that a little bit, anyway.
Yeah.
The other thing I've sort of picked up is, like you said earlier, you're always happiest when you're making stuff. Like when you were doing with Petz. Does that still apply even now?
Yeah, it's turned now that I'm 30 and I'm old and boring. It's turned into like I really want to decorate everything. And it's the same kind of thing. I think it's a bit of an ADHD thing as well. It's like
Yeah,
if there's
it's
something
that
else I can
neurodiverse
focus on.
thing.
Yeah.
It's that because, like, me, autism, Vicky, ADHD. Hi.
If there's something I can throw all my sort of passion into to distract me from stuff for an hour or two, it'll happen.
Is that why you're sort of itching to get the ground running for the new house, basically?
Yeah. We just moved into a new house, and it was a couple of days before my 30th birthday, and I got absolutely we just moved everything in. We got stuff ready for people to come round for like a housewarming on my birthday, and then we've done absolutely fuck all since, because we front loaded all the stress of moving. So you can't see, but on Zoom where I'm talking to Johnny, strategically blurred my background to hide the ceiling high pile of boxes that have now just become commonplace in the house.
Because
So
see,
yeah.
the only thing I can sort of make out from the blur is sort of Adam working away in the background, just sort of moving his shadow moving every now and then, and
Oh God, no, that's not him. I don't know what
wait,
that is.
what?
Adam's beside me. I don't know what's moving in the background.
What the fuck?
I'll turn off the blur. Let's see.
Oh my god!
The stuff. It's not Adam. That's just stuff. There's Adam there. So yeah, this is. I need to get stuck in.
Oh my god!
To get stuck in.
Oh dear! Oh dear!
Yeah, we got into the livable, workable state because we were living out of boxes anyway. Because we just left our flat and then moved in with Adam's parents and then moved in here. So we were kind of like, here are the core things that we have been using for the past 3 months. Everything else is in boxes. So it's just sort of stayed in boxes. And I need to throw a lot of things away. I like to use Olio to give things I don't need away to people that do need them. So yeah.
I feel like the big takeaway from that is just that you're ready to go all Sims on it. completely Sims
So
the
I
fuck out of
made
it.
the house in The Sims the day we viewed it. I've been playing a lot of Sims 4. I remember making it and I said to Adam, I hope we get this house because I've already made the floor plan. And like I made Tony Hawk in The Sims. It's a long story. I can't
Oh
get
no
into
no
it.
no 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 no! We ain't got time to unpack all of that. No 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 no! You ain't gonna do something like that. Come on, tell the story.
Right, there's a subreddit called it's like, oh, what is it? It's something like, oh hey, you look like Tony Hawk or something. And the entire subreddit is just stories of people going up to Tony Hawk and being like, hey, you look like Tony Hawk. It's like it's literally Tony Hawk. One of the ones he got on a plane and
Oh,
he's
I
carrying a
know this one.
skateboard. Someone
Yeah.
was like, who's like, I think he is Tony Hawk. It's like, yes. There's another one where he booked a car rental and he turned up for the keys and the woman was like, oh my God, I thought that was a prank because someone just said Tony Hawk. I was like, oh, yeah, right. She cancelled this booking, but it was Tony Hawk. Or just people going up to him and straight up being like, you really look like Tony Hawk. So for whatever reason, I had seen some Sims 4 content earlier in the day and I was like, what should I do? I've just got Sims 4. I think I got it in Game Pass through the EA Play stuff. So I was like, what should I do? I was like, I'll make a sim that looks like Tony Hawk and I'll call it Tony Hawk. And it will be Tony Hawk, but people will just be like, that guy looks like Tony Hawk. He ended up marrying Dennis Kim, and they are happily together and have been for several sim years. I turned off aging and death, apart from unless someone dies in like something, like a fire or something. But I turned off aging. I maxed out all of Tony's skills. He's a level 10 chef. He's a level 10 snowboarder. He's a level 10 cocktail maker. He's a level 10 fitness enthusiast. Yeah, and he visited my house that I made in The Sims. And now whenever I see Tony Hawk, I'm like, that guy looks like my sim. Forgot that he's an actual person that's not Tony Hawk the Sim. So there you go, Johnny. That's you asked for that and you got it. That's what you asked for.
I feel like I don't know what I asked for. Basically, I don't know what else I expected. Basically, I'm basically Michael Bluth now from Arrested Development. I don't know what else I expected.
My goal is for EA to put in skateboarding into The Sims because they have snowboarding in, and he's a level 10 snowboarder. But it'd be really cool if I could make my sim that looks like Tony Hawk skateboard.
Well, Skate 4's happening. I don't see any reason why EA shouldn't be able to put it in as a skill for the next expansion
There you
or
go.
whatever,
You
or
heard it
even the
here
next game.
first. Play
So
Diary scoops are born here.
I don't know if I'd necessarily call that a scoop, as it's more of a prediction. I don't even know if I'd even
But we
call.
can will it into existence.
I don't even know if I'd even call that a prediction. That's just sort of me talking out of my arse, basically. So, I mean, if it happens, I'll take it.
Someday. You take
Someday,
credit if it happens. If it
someday,
happens, you can take credit.
someday it'll happen. I'm
But
sure.
anyway,
Anyway, we digress massively from the point of pets. Um, da 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 da. Um, so what else do you like about pets that we've not talked about yet?
it was genuinely kind of relaxing. Just to like, you could like play with the virtual pets. You could just like, literally, you could just get a little paint bucket, paint them different colors and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I remember that with dogs. Anyway,
Yeah. People would make custom toys. There's different rooms, so you could take them to like a back garden. There was little mice that would run around the living room. You could catch the mice and stuff. And then you could make your own little scenes as well with like custom wallpapers. Okay, it was a really cute, wholesome game. It was simple. It was really simple, and creators never intended it to be as emergent as it became. I don't think, just in terms of the content that people
what?
made.
Why do you think it did become emergent and complex as it did?
I think it was a combination of it being. It was around the time a lot of people my age got the internet for the first time. forums were really taking off as a thing, and it was just, and then one or two good tutorial writers
Hmm.
was all it really took for people to be like, I could give that a go. I could edit these files and make the cats and dogs look different. And yeah, it was just, I can't pinpoint exactly why it was so. I think there was just something about it. I think it was just because it's like, oh, it's a cutesy game, but it's like really, you can actually do this tech stuff and make it like really cool.
Hmm. Um, what didn't you like about it?
I'm trying to think what I didn't like about it. There was only so much you could actually do in terms of like gameplay. All the like I said, my love for it comes from the skills and the memories of like the community and stuff. The game itself, it's kind of limit, like, you can adopt a pet, it grows up, they have babies, sometimes they run away. I don't think they could actually die. I think they could just run away. But then you could just move the file from the runaway folder to the pets folder. But yeah, it was pretty limited. I didn't like I remember Pets 5 coming out, so that was like near the end of the series. And I think it had been, I think maybe Ubisoft bought it over or something at that point. And it was
Hmm.
like the files weren't as customizable. You were locked into things. It was sort of like, oh no, it's gone corporate. Pets has gone corporate. No. It's that kind of vibe. And then I think it just kind of died off after that. Um,
Oh no, our game. It's corporate now.
Pretty much. It felt like that. It felt like it went from like almost like not quite indie, but it was this like little gem of this little like hidden gem, and then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, they've like got big studio behind them now. This is gonna be class. This is gonna be so good. And then everyone was like, this is actually really, ugh, they've changed it. I don't like it.
They changed it to this sort of publisher mentality, this big publisher mentality of the game should be this, the game should be that, basically.
Yeah, so a lot of the hardcore fan base, like like me, I remember not being happy with Pets 5. I remember not being happy with it. It was the first game I ever ordered online. Talked my parents into letting me order it online. And I remember going to my secondary school open day and coming home and it had arrived. I can remember that really clear as day. And yeah, it was just different. It wasn't the same game. I can't even remember why, but yeah, I'm reading the Pets fandom page.
I'm literally reading up on Pets 5 now just to sort of see when this happened. And this was two. I thought this is 2005. This happened 2002.
Yeah, so radical changes to core gameplay, lack of backwards compatibility, and substandard new breeds. Yes, you couldn't take your Pets 5 pets and put them in Pets 4 and 3 and 4. And that was a really big thing. There was new breeds. They introduced a German Shepherd, I think, and the fan made, community made German Shepherd was better than the official one.
Oh dear.
It caused a lot of upset.
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh dear. I think that's sort of all I can say to it, basically.
It's just one they had a good thing and then
Why
they
why
ruined it.
why break what isn't already broken? Why fix what isn't broken, basically?
I don't know. I think it was because it's like it has like publisher money behind it now and becomes a different thing altogether.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% sure, but I just remember being really it was the first time, is another first time you're really hyped for a release and then you're let down. That you everyone has that where they're like, I'm so hyped for this game, and then it comes out and you're like, oh no. So that was the first time I got burned by that as well.
Oh, I've had two, Final Fantasy 13 and Persona 5, so know the feeling. Everybody knows the feeling.
Pets 5, Persona 5. They're both, it took me
It's
years
all
whenever
it's all in fives.
because I see P5 written and in my head that's still Pets 5, not Persona 5. So I'll see
Hmm.
people tweeting about like, oh, playing P4 and P5 and I'm like, Pets 4, Pets 5. It's like, no, it's Persona. But that's still ingrained into my brain even though I haven't played it in years. Um,
It's not even just that. It's the fact that you sort of abbreviate primary 4 and primary 5 as well, especially if you're in Northern
yes.
Ireland.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, same. Pets on the brain. Formative years.
Scarred by Northern Irish primary school, basically. That's sort of the only way to describe it.
But yeah, I'm glad, like, even though the franchise didn't have the most dignified of ends, but PF Magic went on to do that facade game, which I thought was pretty cool. People sort of know them for that.
Hmm.
Oh, there's babies as well. Completely forgot babies.
You
It was
can't
like
see this, but my eyes just widened at what Vicky has just said. There are
babies with a
babies?
Z, babies with a Z, babies with a Z. Um, it was the same thing, but instead of pets, it was babies, and they were still made at the core from balls and lines because the whole thing started off as
That
oddballs.
sounds mentally terrifying, thinking about it.
See, when you're like you're edit, people have made tools now where you don't need to hex edit. You don't need to open the hex files and change numbers individually anymore. There's like editors where you can just open the like like with like any modeling software, you can just drag things and move them around.
Hmm.
And people eventually made editors for changing them, and it's just like when you see what they're made of, and you can like people like make their eyeballs massive and stuff. It feels freaky. But
Oh,
yeah, there was
good
the whole
God.
thing's based off oddballs, which were they weren't even cats and dogs at first. They were just weird creatures. And then I think someone said to them like, "Hey, do you know it'd be really commercially viable if you made them these cute pets instead?" um, and I think they were like, "Yeah, that's a good idea."
Was this after the Ubisoft acquisition?
No, this was before. So
Oh, okay, okay.
oddballs
If
came
if
before
the
pets.
okay, no, I mean babies.
Oh no, when did babies come out? I feel like babies 1999.
Oh, so this was before Ubisoft. Okay, I thought this was a
Yeah.
Ubisoft mandated game.
No, babies wasn't too bad actually. I remember
Hmm.
playing it and quite liking it. So it was kind of like, oh, they could still. I think what happened was for five, it had a new developer and a publisher.
Hmm.
Because I'm seeing here, babies, it says was all developers were Ubisoft. It might have just been that new developer got carried over to.
Hmm.
But there'll always be a special place in my heart for PF Magic.
Hmm.
I don't know knowing what I know now about the games industry, I would love to know all like the ins and outs of who worked on what and why it changed hands and when. But I'm sure that's secrets people will take to the grave.
Um, this feels weird to be even asking this. But top three pets games, what would they be? I'm guessing five would be absolutely nowhere in the top three at all.
I think the top one would be Pets 4,
Mm.
closely followed by Pets 3. It's like slightly less fleshed out Pets 4. And then I guess I'll say Oddballs for the third one. It was the one that started it all. It was weird. I'll go for Oddballs. So Pets 4, which was the last one before the franchise fell off a cliff. Then Pets 3, which was the first one I played, and then Oddballs, which was the one that started it all.
Hmm.
Well, technically they had one called just Balls, and it was a fighting game. But then I think they were like, we need to keep adding things onto these balls each time to make to make this more commercial.
There are too many dirty thoughts going through my head right now that I do not wish to repeat on air.
Wait, I I've told a big fib, Johnny.
Oh.
I was mistaken. Cats came out first,
Ah.
then Oddballs, then they must have thought, you know what? Time for dogs. There you go.
Hmm. There we go. We learn something new every day. My favorite game.
I learned something about my favorite game. I'm one of those fake Pets fans. I don't know the lore.
God, you're such a fake fan. Um. Right. So, yes, honorable mentions. There's one in particular that I actually half interrupted you about earlier, just before we got on the pets, and that was I don't know if you'd consider an honorable mention, but I'll mention it here anyway. Um, Maple Story.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Maple Story was Maple Story was my post Petz natural progression into the next stage of my of finding online communities. The people I knew in my Maple Story guild when I was 14, I still also have on Facebook. People I've never met, people that live in Florida, people that live in Sweden. Um, it was just as good for the community side of things. Obviously not as customizable because it's a Korean MMORPG. Can't really go in and well, the people I remember there was private servers for a while, but they all got shut down. But there was stuff like that. But it wasn't nearly as customizable to the extent Petz was. But it was the first thing. It was the first like MMO I played. It was the first thing with I'd played with all the depth of like, here's my stats, here's my builds. I need to get this boss to get this item. I need a guild to help me do that. I need to finish this quest line to help me do that. There's just so much content. It was incredibly dangerous to give to me to play. And it's sort of funny because I played that game for so long and it was the only thing I played for so many years. And it being by originally by Wise and then Nexon took over it. It it had a lot of things like it had the cash shop and microtransactions and all that sort of maybe like a good couple of years before that started even being mentioned as like a thing in the sort of like Western gaming spheres. So for a long time, I just kind of thought that was normal, like having that kind of stuff, and it is now, I guess. But I remember when I would go on to the Nexon website and I'd buy $10 NX cash card for like £5. This is back when the exchange rate for dollars to pounds was pretty good. It's about, half. Yeah, $10 was £5, and that's pretty good. It's not like that anymore.
Hmm.
But I remember sheepishly just being like, "Mom, can I have money for my game?" Every couple of months, like going like, "Can I have a tenner? I want to buy a new hat." So I played that for a long time.
Was that is that the only MMO you've ever played, or has there been more? He says, waiting for the setup to say ask if for a particular question.
Um, it's the only one I really heavily like got into in like that. It depends how broad you're making MMO. I'm gonna let you ask your next question, and then we'll see how it ties in.
Vicky, do you know Final Fantasy 14 has a 60-day free trial or a 30-day free trial where you can play up to level 60, including Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, and an Endwalker expansion?
Johnny, I have voluntarily removed myself from the possibility of me even playing Final Fantasy 14 because do you know, I remember the Maple Story patch where they introduced warnings in the chat for when you'd been logged on for too long. It'd be like, you've been playing for 1 hour, you should take a break. You've been playing for 2 hours, you should take a break. I remember that getting to 24 hours over the summer holidays
What the
and me logging
fuck?
off and me being like, just one more party quest. I like, oh, Orbis party quest has a glitch. I can get to level 60 if I just like stay up for another 5 hours. Like that I cannot play Final. I've written it off. It's just like a thing that I have done. My vow of Final Fantasy chastity. I am never going to play that game because all my friends play it,
Oh, I
and I
fucking play it.
and I hear them. You guys going to the Golden Casino Ball to do your lottery this Saturday or whatever the fuck, and I I don't I don't indulge because I cannot be trusted. I have an addictive personality and I'm staying the fuck away from it because I know I will never log off. I had to ask myself to be banned from forums during my GCSEs because I was posting so much shit because I have zero self-control. So this is how I will exert some self-control over my life by not playing that game.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But
I
that
I
is,
I get it. I get it. Um, did you not at least play WoW at least before?
I never liked the camera controls
Okay.
because I played MapleStory for so long with its little 2D cutesy graphics. And people would look at it and be like, that looks like shit. That looks like a little kid's game. And I'm like, have you even tried to beat like fucking Zakum boss? You know? I never really got into why they've having the subscription thing put me off.
Hmm.
It just wasn't really accessible to me as a teenager.
Hmm.
But I was lucky enough to scrounge a tenner off my mum every couple of months for like some NX cash. But then, it would expire. It would all expire. You'd get a pet, you'd get an outfit, you'd get a hat, all expire within 90 days. Ahead
Jesus.
of the game. I'm telling you, they're ahead of the game. I played different versions of MapleStory as well. I played the Japanese version. I can't even remember how I got through the sign up process. I got married in the Japanese version to another player because if you got married, you get like certain buffs and stuff. And I was such a weeb, I was able to get through the guides for like marriage and stuff. And I genuinely can't even. I found screenshots of me playing it, and I'm typing stuff, and I'm like, for like I'm so good at retaining information for like exactly the amount of time I need it, and it just goes, it just goes. So that was a phase I went through one summer. Then I played Maple Sea because I remember there was a map called Aqua Road, and it was an underwater map, and I thought it was called Maple Sea because it had Aqua Road. It
Hmm.
was called Maple Sea because it was MapleStory for Southeast Asia. So I played that for a bit. It was quite laggy though, but it had like extra maps that like the European and global version didn't have. So that was cool.
Hmm.
So yeah, I played it a lot.
Hmm.
Maybe too much.
The need to stay away from Final Fantasy 14 is now commendable as a result. Because, like, Jesus Christ, 24 hours without a break. Oh my god.
I probably went for food.
I would like to think you went for the toilet at least. Jesus.
No, I just shit myself as I played.
Oh
Joking.
god, no. No, you did not. Stop that.
No.
Stop acting a gag. Um, alright, so besides Maple Story, what other honorable mentions do you have?
So speaking of no self-control, there is Rust by Face Punch. I played 600 hours of that in 3 months. That was a bad summer. That was when I needed to log off. Again, this is why I'm not ever playing Final Fantasy. Um, it was really fun. There's a story that Adam always likes to tell about emergent gameplay and how we defeated some bad guys in that game. But in case he ever does in my favorite game, I'll not. I'll let him share that story in case he ever does one of these. But
Adam, please come on at some point.
I will pass this on to him. But it was
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
there
he
was.
could hear me through those headphones. You're next
Oh
to
no, he
him.
can't. He's in the zone. He's working away.
Fuck, he must be in the
What
zone.
what was it? Yeah, there was like we sat up all night one night, just like hacking away at this base, and we like the sun was coming out the window, and we're worried about them logging on again and stuff. And that was one of my best memories ever of like playing a game. That was really fun. Play a lot of Overwatch. It's good. They call me Vicky Platinum Pots because I'm not that good at it. I placed in platinum once and then was like too scared to ever play again because I knew I couldn't get up to like diamond or anything.
You'd
Play
peaked. You peaked.
peaked early. Plat pots
You
in the
peaked as a
plat chat.
gamer.
Is it? What else?
Capital G gamer.
Minecraft. A lot of Minecraft. When we all went into lockdown, So that we worked in a co-working space called the Pixel Mill before that, and we all went on the Minecraft server for a bit, and I rebuilt the Pixel Mill in Minecraft. So I was looking up like ceiling plans of Ormo baths. That's the building it's in, floor plans and stuff. And I was like, geez, I hope nothing ever happens to this place because I'm going to be like the number one suspect. Like, I see you have the floor plans of the building there. So I lovingly recreated that in Minecraft. Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster, Zoo Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon. Loved those. Sims as well. Love building games. Like weird one on which it's like trail makers. Build like a little vehicle, it's progressively more complex until you collect all these items on a map, and I got really into it. It was really fun. I've been playing Let's Build a Zoo recently. Oh my goodness, it's so fun. I love building games, simulation games, games where you can be silly, games where you can mess about, games where you can make stuff, games where it's like fun, just as fun retelling playing it as it is playing it. I think it's my jam.
When you said so, when I asked you to come on, you said to me you either had the option. You decided to either talk of Petz, Overwatch, or Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I said this to Jordan. When you said Roller Coaster Tycoon was an option, I was like, "Oh fuck no! Oh fuck no! Oh fuck no! Fuck no!"
Why?
Because of my shit as a fun fair.
What?
With my stuff with the fun fair. I was like, no, please, God, no, please don't pick Roller Coaster Tycoon. I didn't actually say this to Vicky or Jordan, but I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to talk about the fun fair here. So, but like you didn't. So thank you.
I don't know if I still think between it and Zoo Tycoon, I've probably played more Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I think ultimately I prefer Zoo Tycoon. And I always still call Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster Zoo Tycoon, and it's like such a boomer thing. I don't think I'll ever get the name right for it.
So top 3 games ever. What would they be? Obviously, Petz at the top. What would be second or third?
Just in terms of general, probably MapleStory, just in terms of playtime and like life experience. The amount of time I sunk into that. And then Overwatch third, I guess. Oh, it's really hard. I can't pick. It depends what mood I'm in. It literally, I pick a game and I play it for months at a time. Like I'll play Overwatch for 6 months, and then I'll play The Sims for 6 months, and then I'll play Minecraft for 6 months. Currently, it's Let's Build a Zoo. I've been playing it and only it for the past couple of weeks. Just it depends when you catch me. It depends what mood I'm in. It really does.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I play a game until I can't even look at the icon without it reminding me of an entire time period and being like, no.
Until you basically burn the last single drop of serotonin it provides you. It's basically the exact same with me in music. Until I've basically repeated a song to death, I will keep listening to it.
Yep. So I did that with watched Hamilton over lockdown, like 4 years after everyone else. Got really into really fucking into really into it, and then I'm just like, oh geez, really went a bit overboard there, didn't you, Vicky? So yeah, it's that kind of thing.
I think it's a neurodiversity thing.
Definitely. So Whitepot Whitepot Studios, an indie studio based in Belfast. My wonderful team have been so busy this year. Earlier this year, we put out Stargazing, which is a relaxing, free-to-play.
Wait, hang on. Stargazing was the start of the year? Oh,
Yeah,
fuck me. Time is
I
literally
know.
does
It's
not
just
longer exist as a concept to me.
it's
No.
still it's 2020, like month 23. It doesn't. You know what? It's because the Olympics this year was Tokyo 2020, Euro 2020, so it's fine. It's fine.
Not
Everything's
even
all
that.
the.
I've been of the belief time stopped the literal second who announced COVID was a pandemic. Time stopped when they announced it was a pandemic. As far as I'm concerned.
Still suspending. Like, see, it's not fair. The last year of my 20s was spent in lockdown because then now I just have to turn 30, and I guess you know what, it is fair because at least it wasn't the start of my 20s, so I'll take what I've got. But you know what? Even if the start of your 20s wasn't lockdown, it's fine. You'll have a great time in your mid 20s. Help me, Johnny. I'm backpedaling. Get me out of this. Quick. Ask me something. Yes. So, stargazing is an astronomically relaxing pattern puzzler. Yep, stargazing for Android and iOS. Join constellation dot to dots. Make lovely patterns in the sky. Share your scores with your friends. See how quick you can draw the patterns. Make little scenes with the patterns. It's very cute. It's very relaxing. It's very pretty. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever made. And then, of course, last Christmas we did Ho Ho Home Invasion, which was a Santa stealth free-to-play Christmas game. So if you join the Whitepot Studios Discord, discord.gg/Whitepot, you can keep on top of all these lovely developments. And yeah, keep us posted.
And then be reminded every Wednesday by Jeff that it is indeed Wednesday, my dudes.
Jeff is our little frog bot, and I love him. And when Jeff doesn't post, I get stressed because I wonder, where is Jeff? Why is Jeff not posting? So Jeff reminds me that it's Wednesday.
It feels like me and Vicky get really worried and distressed when Jeff does not post on the server.
Where are you, Jeff? So yeah, it's a lovely community server. You can
apparently we can blame Keelan for when he's not posting.
Cause of and solution to all of the Discord problems. Oh no, he's done his script.
Oh yes, no, he is. He is. Sorry. Continue hawking your shit.
I think that was pretty much it.
You're not going to promote your own Twitter.
See, Johnny, here's the thing. I post a lot of shite, and I don't really think it's fair to subject. I am at NinjaPots on Twitter. It's a username I came up with in 2011 when I was at the tail end of my Naruto phase. And
oh my god, you were a weeb.
Oh yeah. Still trying to work out if I should change that handle because it's very dated now. But yeah, I am NinjaPots on Twitter. Twitter account for Whitepot is at Whitepot. Lots of good stuff. If you don't go for me, if you don't go check it out for me, at least go check it out for my team because they're very hardworking and very talented. We make good stuff.
Thanks for listening to My Favorite Game, a podcast by PlayDiaries.com where people from the games industry come on to talk of their favorite game. If you want to listen to future episodes of My Favorite Game, as well as press play before they go live publicly on Play Diaries and other podcast platforms, please consider becoming a $2 tier podcast early access patron to our Patreon at patreon.com/playdiaries. Next week, Demon Rook on Dark Souls. Until next week, bye bye.